Today we're going to talk about Buddha recitation. Recitation means being mindful of the Buddha day by day, having Amitabha in our mind, be awakened and return to our original face like Amitabha. We will use verses from Dongfeng Master's Thrice Yearning Chanting Service to talk about Buddha recitation. Let's look at the first verse. Buddha is in our mind. There are three kinds of mind. One is the mind or the heart in our body, the organ. It is given to us by our parents through birth. This is not our true mind. The second mind is the mind that comprehends and reacts to different situations. That is our deluded mind. Our consciousness is full of the self and the ego, so it's also not our pure mind. The third mind is the mind of truth, that is eternal and constant. This is our true mind. This mind does not gain anything when we reach Buddhahood, and it does not lose anything when we remain in the 6 rounds of reincarnation. It is the same for mortals and saints. By concentrating our mind when chanting, the virtues and merits of Buddha will reflect upon us. For Buddha, he reached enlightenment through realization of this true mind. When we have this true mind, we no longer create false imageries and attachments which causes suffering and pain. When we chant the name Amitabha, it is to leave the deluded mind and return to our pure mind that is perfectly endowed with all the virtues and merits of the Buddha. Recitation of Amitabha Buddha's name is how we realize our self-nature. When our mind is annihilated, our own intrinsic Buddha nature will appear. By then, there is no Buddha since we become one ourselves. When our mind is annihilated, this is the deluded mind. It creates false imageries. We become attached to them. That's what's creating the samsara. We should know that this life is like the images in the mirror. It's only a false reflection. The mirror itself should not be moved by the imageries. Mortals and mundane don't understand. Just like we see in the TV screen, there's soap opera. We know the soap opera is fake, but we don't know that our own life right now is also like a show that's in the TV screen. But Buddha, on the other hand, he realized that everything is illusory. He is not attached to appearances. He remains calm and unruffled. We must realize that Buddha is all sentient beings and all sentient beings are Buddha. Apart from our mind, there's no Buddha or beings. The only difference between Buddha and sentient beings is one is awakened and one is confused. Buddha only sees the eternal in the temporary existence, but human beings only sees the temporary existence in the eternal of life. That's the difference. When we chant Amitabha, it becomes second nature. Then there's not the subject of the chanting mind or the object of the name Amitabha. There's not the attaining or the attainable. Both are unattainable and without permanent substance. We let go of this attachment to even the Dharma. That's when we realize our self-nature. With closest examination of ourselves, once again, we will realize the difference. The only difference between Buddha and beings is one is enlightened and one is confused. That's why Yongja Master says, in our dreams, we see the 6 rounds of reincarnation, but when we are realized, we can no longer see the 6 rounds of reincarnation in the Saha world. We probably heard of the story of Uda Master of the Tang Dynasty. Because of his virtues and cultivation, he was honored as the national master. He was given a throne made out of sandalwood. by the emperor at that time. Because of this, he unknowingly gave rise to arrogance and vanity. Over time, a human face ulcer grew on his knee. The pain is unbearable. That's when he remembered when he was a novice, there was an old monk's whole body was filled with foul-smelling ulcers. No one dared to go near him, but young Buddha, out of great compassion, took care of the old monk until he recovered. So the old monk told him, "Young man, you will have great achievement this lifetime, but you will also face great obstacles. When you face trouble that you cannot overcome, come see me in Jiulong Mountain in Sichuan. When you see the twin pine trees, you have arrived." Buddha decided to go to the old monk and ask him for help. When he arrived, it was already evening time. The attendant of the old monk already knew that he was coming, told him, "In the morning, we will wash away your ulcer with the spring water." So in the morning, the attendant took him to the spring water. Before he started washing, the ulcer started speaking. He says, "Wait a minute. Many lifetime ago, you were Yuan Ang. I was Cao Cuo. You wronged me. You framed me. So the emperor ordered to kill me. I suffered a horrific death, and I swore to revenge. But for 10 lifetimes, you were always a virtuous monk that hold precept, so I could not get to you. But now with your thought of vanity and arrogance, I was able to take revenge. Now with the spring water of the enlightened Kanaka, our fuel has ended. I will no longer take any revenge. The bad blood has ended." Buddha master was in great shock. He sprayed spring water on the ulcer. It was very painful. He fainted. When he woke up, the ulcer was gone. The realized Buddha master took care of the old monk out of great compassion, and the monk that gave rise to vanity and arrogance is also him. The only difference is in one thought, awakened or confused. In this stage, our mind will illuminate as the different colored lotuses. When we are awakened, we will have the lotus flowers of 4 different colors of red, white, blue, and yellow. Lotus flower symbolizes perfect purity, the perfect purity and goodness of our true mind. We often say chant Amitabha until the flower flourishes and Buddha come into view. This Buddha is not Amitabha, it's the Buddha within yourself. When we are perfectly pure without vexation, then you will see the Buddha that is your own true nature. Now let's look at the second verse that has more description of this enlightened mind. The grand circular mirror of truth, like the true mind, has no dust. The grand circular mirror of truth, that's when our 8th consciousness transforms into the great perfect mirror wisdom. The alaya consciousness is erased clean. There's no more karmic seeds, only perfect purity and wisdom. That's why it says there's no more dust. The green lotus bud bear the birth of a Buddha. The lotus flower arises from our mind. When we chant Amitabha in this world right now, there is a lotus bud growing in the pond of the Western Pure Land. The color, radiance, and size of the flower all depend on our diligence. If we're lazy, the flower will wither. If we are very diligent, have firm faith, resolve vows, and enthusiastic practice, then our flower will get bigger and brighter. It's all depending on our diligence. We need to protect this lotus like we protect the infant in the mother's womb. We do not want a miscarriage. We should practice diligently without giving rise to evil thoughts. Always have perfectly pure and kind heart. Look far away from the bottom of the pond spread with golden sand. The bright lights from the 7 jewels shine from the jade pagoda. This is talking about the living living situation in the Western Pure Land, which is symbolic of the beauty of our true nature, the true mind. Over here on this earth, the bottom of the pond is full of mud, but over there is full of golden sand. The buildings in our world is made out of brick, stones, and concrete. Over there, it's made out of 7 jewels, precious stones that are soft, fragrant, and illuminating. All the wondrous aspect of the Pure Land really exist. They are all symbolic of our true nature. That's why we say pure mind, pure land, or you can say enlightened mind, enlightened land. It's all up to our mind right here, right now. This lifetime, we have the inconceivable, rare opportunity to become a Buddha. We should really let go of all the worries and affliction, see through the illusion of all appearances, chant Amitabha single-mindedly. True Buddha recitation means mindful of our own Buddha nature, our true mind. That is true recitation. Always be aware that right here, right now, you are with your true mind, and there's nothing else that's more important than be in the present moment, chanting Amitabha and residing in your true nature. So that's a class for today. Thank you for listening. Amitabha.